Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody around the world. Welcome back to another One Piece video featuring Smoker. Coming at you guys with a very spicy deck profile featuring OP12 here on the channel, let alone a leader in which we typically don't see here featured on the channel. So I decided to do something completely different. Whereas I think we may have had maybe one Smoker video, maybe. But then again, we probably haven't because this leader was kind of overutilized when it first came out, when he was doing well, right? And if you notice, I typically like to stay away from quote-unquote meta decks until they're either off meta, they fall off meta, or we get some new spicy things, which are pretty interesting. So with that being said, Smoker, on the other hand, has a bunch of different deck profiles in which you can build from. And today we're going to be utilizing the 8-cost Mihawk along with the Perona package, which should be relatively pretty good here, being that we are running with 8 searchers. We aren't going to be running the usual Navy package here, which you guys might see utilized with Peacock. I'm trying to stay away from this particular build and do something a little different here. I want to try to play on curve by going first when you win that die roll to be able to go into a Smoker, into a Tashigi, which happens more often than you think, because you can either open up with a Tashigi or a Smoker, and then you can open up with one of these searchers here to search the other one. And that's kind of how you want to go about the matchup, or sorry, the deck list. Now, of course, nothing's perfect, so we're going to be utilizing the Perona, we're going to be utilizing the Virgo. This will find you Smoker and Tashigi, whereas Perona will find you your Smoker and your Mihawk into the late game. Or if you're playing up against a control variant of a deck, it allows you to find your 2-cost blocker here, which can protect your board if something is KO'd. So either like your Blackbeard, your Rob Lucci, your Sakazuki matchups, this guy is really good to protect your pieces on board. If they are slash, i.e. you're protecting your Smoker, you're going to protect your Mihawk here, which is pretty solid. Now, in the late game, there are some other pieces here which I don't necessarily know how I feel just yet with my 5-cost Jewelry Bonnie. I feel like sometimes it gets value, but there are occasions where I play this on board just to have a blocker. And for whatever reason, I don't know if I'm using this effect incorrectly or what, but I feel like on Sim, the on play here, if you have 8 or more rested cards, you get to draw 2, trash 1, right? But for whatever reason, the next effect, where it says then set up to one of your Dawn cards is active, I can never get that to go off here on the Sim. I don't know what it is. So there are situations where I can either play down a Paradise Waterfall with the extra Dawn, but for some reason Bonnie doesn't always restand it. I don't understand why, but that's something I am working around. There are other options here when it comes to the 5-cost Bonnie if you guys don't like this into a deck list, and that's totally fine. But currently, this is what we're cooking up. Everything else is going to be kind of staple with the Sanjis and the Chopper, along with a 1-drop Virgo, the Hody Jones, and of course the Mole Gun. The 2 new additions are going to be Paradise Waterfall and Spiderweb. In the late game, and we're talking about like 9 Dawn, right? If you go first, you have the option of dropping a Mihawk into a Smoker, into a Shigi. That is 16 Dawn worth in a turn for 9 Dawn. Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it? It's really good. If you also have your Mihawks down, you have options to do Spiderwebs to give this 4K and restand it. You also have options with the Paradise Waterfall to do the exact same thing. So this should be able to protect your late game. You have the KO removal, you have the hard removal. Let's go ahead and have a lot of fun today. I'll see you guys in a split second. Let's go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into a bunch of games today. Coming at you guys with Smoker, playing into Purple Katakuri and OP12. Speaking of which, we were going to be doing Katakuri today, but I cannot technically utilize Katakuri in OP12 without playing up against Emu and the other new decks, right? That's something we don't have access to for a long time, and I want to play around with the PRB stuff, in which Katakuri gets access to Pudding, which makes the deck really good. So we may hold off on that a little bit, but I'm also interested in utilizing a Smoker deck that has the new Kobe. So you guys may get some new content here when it comes to newer sets in the PRB. very, very soon. I do want to dive into some stuff for OP13 early as well, so stay tuned for that. And that should come probably this week, if anything. But either way, we're going to go ahead and dive into this matchup here, which shouldn't be the worst, right? I do feel Katakuri, he has his days. And I don't feel like the deck list is too bad, but it's not good enough to compete with some of the top tier meta decks. Not implying Smoker is top tier meta, but, you know, hey, I digress. Either way, he doesn't utilize a whole bunch of removal. He does have access to Sovereignty, and I do have to play around that a little bit, but I should be able to stick my Smoker on board if we're able to draw into him at any point here without having to worry about too much. So, we should be alright. Unfortunately, he is able to circumvent my deck list, or sorry, my top deck, which means he can see a lot of cards before I get to utilize them or get to see them, so he can kind of play around that. And he does have access to the 10 cost Big Mom, which in itself is problematic because we don't have anything that's going to be able to run that over. But I like to be as aggressive as possible here, and with a hand like this, it's not the greatest. However, we do have double Sanji, which is pretty good, because now we can restand 2, swing 5 face, and he can just use his leader skill and do the thing, and we can stack down another Sanji and pass turn here. We've got nothing going on for us when it comes to Smoker, so I think this is our best course of action here. Also, after this video, I might, alright, we might be diving into Birdcage Doflamingo again. I've had people actually ask me in Discord, leave comments in other videos telling me to revisit Doflamingo, and it might have to be a thing. It's been a minute. I haven't put out a Birdcage list since my last iteration of Doflamingo, and that was when we got the new 5-cost Purple Rosinante. So it might be time to dive back into the list a little bit, play around with it, especially for this metagame. It could be pretty good. Arguably, we're not talking about against Rayleigh or any of that nature, considering how aggressive the deck is. You don't typically get Birdcage out on board promptly enough to be able to save you in that match, but against other deck lists, we have ways of dealing with green now. With the Tashigi, the Smoker, the Cavendishes, we have ways of getting around this, and I think it could be pretty good. And it's an event that we always had access to, just now we have better ways of restanding Dawn with the 8-cost Mihawk and some other spicy characters. So that might be something we're going to look into for the next upcoming video. But I also want to dive into Green Zoro. We haven't done that yet here on the channel, and that's a pretty exciting deck that I want to get into, as well as Smoker today. So bear with me, all right? We're gonna get out as much content as we possibly can, and we're looking to increase the content here on the channel. And I also want to set up a new poll for you guys, whether or not you guys want me to include any more TCGs here on the channel. I did put out a poll a little while ago when it came to the new League of Legends card game and then Pokemon. I just want to touch base again and see where my community is at when it comes to TCGs here on the channel. I'm not going to include something here in which you guys don't want, or it doesn't have a lot of draw to it to get you guys interested in other content, because that takes away from One Piece, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna put out a poll on that as well and see where you guys want to go. I think we're doing pretty good here, because this will force him to use the event if he has one. This is why I decided to swing 6 first. Takes this one. He did leave up 1 Dawn, so he does have access to the one event that pushes him up to 5k, which he might save for the Smoker swing if he doesn't get blockers down this turn. And that's something I don't see a lot of Katakuris utilizing for whatever reason. And any purple Katakuri deck that I've come across, a lot of them aren't utilizing the 1 cost event that boosts Katakuri by 5,000 power, which is really good. Plus, when you use your skill, you get an extra 1,000 power when you minus the Dawn, so there's that as well. which makes him 11k, which is really, really good. Yeah, you can have this one. I can't really play around this. Hopefully he realizes that we're at 7 Dawn here, and he's not trying to play the 8 cost Katakuri, which he searched out earlier for. Because that would be kind of funny. He might just be setting up for next turn. But then again, yeah, that's probably what he's going to do. Because if we play Hody Jones, we have to go back down to 1 life if we end up drawing him, which is not ideal. So we go to 9 here. We're going to play Mihawk on curve, of course. Restand 4, then we get 3 additional Dawn with both Smokers, which is just so good, man. I think Mihawk was pretty much made for a deck like this. And it's searchable for us, so. We're going to try to be very aggressive here, so we can force out the event if he has it. So he left up a Dawn here again. He takes it. Okay, interesting. Huh, I didn't expect that. I would think he'd want to guard out with the event if he does have it. Because the only other one I think I could see him playing is Blast Breath. Which is a little weird, but hey. It'd be what it'd be. I want to play more Searchers here as well, but I don't want to get rid of our 2 cost blockers. So I guess we're going to go heavy here for the rest of the turn. That means we can go 8 and 8. So we did 10, 8, 8. He's got 5 cards left in hand. We know one of them is a Katakuri. Yep, minus is a Dawn, does the thing, goes to 6, looks at my top deck, then gets an additional 5,000 boost. It's pretty good. So there's a Hody here for us for next turn. That way we have Hody to rest both blockers. Goes to 1 life. We'll pass it over here. Gets a search. What are you getting? Okay, Oven. I think that Hody is probably going to win us the game, honestly. Okay, so there's a free Katakuri. If he has just the 1 here, we'll be fine. But he did set up to play down 2. So what, you Kata into 10 cost Mom, maybe. But then you don't have any Dawn left over to defend yourself here. But I don't think it necessarily matters if he knows that we have the Hody Jones. You know what I mean? So perhaps he tries to clear board, maybe? So you'd run, what, Katakuri into Sanji. You play down the Mom. You run the Mom into the Smoker. But then again, we have 2 blockers on board here. So with a decent hand. So you can go 6 into 4. I'll give him cards out of hand here when it comes to the Big Mom. Or not the Big Moms. Oh, he's going to swing at this. This is perfect. Yep. We'll do it again. Just because we know he's going to swing in with the 10 cost Mom anyway. We have 1 more blocker on board here. Goes for Smoker, I assume. Which we'll have to guard out. Oh, goes for Mihawk. Okay, cool. And good game, I think. Because he knows we have the Hody. He's only got 4 cards in hand, no Dawn active, so. I don't think there was anything else he could have done in that situation. Even if he did survive the following turn, we just kill him the next one. Yeah, fair. Good game, man. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into another matchup here with Smoker playing into Kuzan. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to dive into another game. Come at you guys with Smoker playing against Kuzan today. We are going to try to stick to meta decks at the most. You know, there are some off meta deck lists out there that are very interesting to play against, and if I feel they're fun or they're pretty, you know, they're pretty gimmicky or they can be pretty flexible, then we'll include them into the matchups, or sorry, in the videos. And that's going forward. I typically like to stay against, meta decks or quote unquote tier 2, tier 3 deck list as much as possible. So I like to give you guys my impressions when it comes to whatever deck I'm playing, and it's very hard to showcase a decent deck or a good deck against decks that are completely just off meta or off kilter, if you will. So Smoker, Kuzan, and I'm playing a ridiculous amount of Kuzan myself. I'm having a lot of fun with this deck list, and he is winning regional events, which is kind of crazy. So, without Cavendish, by the way, because who needs Cavendish and Kuzan, to be fair, you know what I mean? Argue that point if you want down in the comments, I would definitely get back to you. Now, this matchup for us, though, is very, very hard, considering the amount of cards that Kuzan's able to cycle and filter up. And of course, I want to go first, which is Kuzan going second. It is his curve, right? So he gets to go his curve. And that's a downside because he's able to play down 2 bodies on 8 Dawn turn, which Garp into a Kuzan to freeze my Smoker or freeze whatever else we have on board can be problematic. The winning field for me is to be able to slam down a Smoker and a Tashigi, or a Mihawk Smoker Tashigi at any point in this matchup, and it makes it very, very difficult for Kuzan. Once a Tashigi hits the board here, it's very hard for him to remove anything, which is nice, right? The downside, our 2-cost green blocker guy, I forgot his name, you guys know who I'm talking about. It doesn't really help in this matchup, considering Kuzan doesn't have a lot of cards that KO. He doesn't have a use here to be able to protect our Smoker, so we have to rely solely on Tashigi here to keep our board. Left 1 Dawn open for the Peacock here, for whatever reason early game. Go 7 here. If we can force it, that'd be great. Okay, never mind. Goes down to 3 life. There's the red rock. That sucks. Hey, let's go. It's kind of a turn late, but it's alright, it works out. Because that could have been a red rock on the Tashigi if we had it there. Run 6 Dawn. Potentially this could be a Jozu play or a Kuzan to freeze the Smoker here. Jozu would be really, really good, because it would protect him from a banish swing next turn, regardless of if we're going to play it back down or not. 5 here. We give you the 2k counter. Actually, we can just take this hit. No, we'll give him the 2k. Okay, Sengoku. What are we looking for? Okay, throws away Sakazuki. Interesting. I think Sokka's pretty good in this matchup here too. Gravity Blade and Hina. That is something you definitely don't want to see. Gravity Blade has no value in this matchup, considering he knows that we drew the Tashigi. So it's just a dead card in hand right now. Unless he's planning on just Gravity Blading, spending 7 Dawn to remove Tashigi, it doesn't really make any sense to me. So I could imagine he could grab something else instead of the Gravity Blade. But we'll see. We'll go 2 here first, just to clear that off the board. Although we don't run a whole lot of removal here, it's just, you know. We have a swing, we're going to swing. Let's go 5 into Sengoku. 4, 5, 6. We probably should just went 5 to face there, to be honest with you. Because I don't see him donning up this Sengoku the following turn, especially when he's on 8 Dawn, so that's my bad. A little bit of a misplay there. We do get another banish. Go 8 lead here as well. Gives us 2 2Ks. Cool. We'll pass turn. Yeah, we should have swung 5 to face there. It's my fault. Because he has to develop bodies here. So Gravity Blade, we know he has Gravity Blade in hand and a Hina 2K, right? He gave us 2 Surus that turn. So we know 2 cards in hand. He's definitely going to play Garp, if he has Garp. Okay, so Garp Kuzan, I imagine, to freeze my Smoker from swinging. There goes the Gravity Blade. Yep. Draws free card. Throws away a red rock. He should draw another one here as well, so it goes back to 6 cards in hand. Smoker cannot swing, which is alright. Yep. Goes 5 leader here. Okay, alright, well, GG, I guess. Well played. Interesting, though, man. That was unfortunate. I thought he was doing pretty well, to be fair. Considering he had a full hand, right? He had 3 peacocks and then 2 Ks with 2 life, right? He froze the Smoker, he had Garp on board, and he had the Kuzan on board. So, I mean, he was doing okay. I think it's just more so when we start swinging the following turn, he's pitching cards in hand to try to survive, and then he just leaves them up with the peacocks. Which, peacock trashes, another peacock draws free card. You know what I mean? So, perhaps we had the game by a long shot there, and maybe this one will be a little bit different. So, we'll see. No Sanji. I guess. Nope, no Tashigi here. That sucks. That really does suck, actually. So I guess we'll take the 2K. That's all we really can get here. Doesn't really matter which one. We'll take the Sanji. Wish I can get that, but I can't. Alright, do another search, please. So there's Tashigi. And we get double Sanji here as well. That's rough. That feels real bad. Oh well. What are you gonna do, boys? What are you gonna do? If I cannot establish Tashigi in this match, it just goes downhill drastically. And it's not because Tashigi does anything special, it's more so she protects my Smoker, which is very, very key here to winning this match in a lot of cases. Especially knowing the ins and outs of Kuzan and what cards they typically are looking for to play in the early game. Once you get to that late game, you know what's typically coming down, right? So, they throw away Pudding, though. Hey, Tashigi anyway. We got it. On curve. Let's do it. Restand and restand. We'll go 5 to face here. This is alright. Yeah, we have to play this down first, right? And then we'll swing. Just in case. Normally, I take the first hit in most matchups. It just gives us that extra card there, because they drew 3 with the Sengoku. This would be the 4th one, plus their draw phase, which is really, really good. Other than that, they just give me a 2K, because most of my swings going 5 forces 2K counters from Kuzan, in most cases, otherwise you're pitching Searchers. That sucks. There's a Gravity Blade, bottom next to Shigi. Goes to 6. This still could be ideally a Jozu or Kuzan to freeze or bounce Smoker to hand, which would be ideal for him right now. There's Kuzan, freezes Smoker, so we're not going to get value here, which does kind of suck. Yep, can't swing, throws away 2K counter. We're at 7. As greedy as I want to be with the Hody Jones, I think he's got enough counter in hand to protect the Kuzan. And we just would basically be doing 1 damage to ourselves, and then doing another damage next turn when he swings with his 8 cost. Or sorry, his 6 cost Kuzan. Instead, we could get down 2 Smokers this turn. And that seems a little scarier. Unfortunately, we don't have a Tashigi on board. So Gravity Blade could hit us pretty hard. But in that case, he would have to Gravity Blade and not develop 2 bodies next turn. Which is still really good. So I think we'll do that. Because this forces his hand, basically. And we don't have much else going on here, so. Let's go ahead and set up for Bonnie. Because now we have 8 rested cards, right? We get 1 with the Virgo, 2 Dawn already, then the 5 extra Dawn that we're going to spend for the Bonnie. This way we can play Bonnie here, over top of Virgo. Which is weird now that I think about it. Yeah. Because we have 7 rested now, don't we? Instead of 8, but we were still able to draw the 2. Which doesn't make any sense. And we still can't restand Dawn. Because the on-play should not work, right? If you have 8 or more rested cards, draw 2 and then trash 1 from your hand. I shouldn't get the on-play if I don't have the rested. But instead, they gave me the on-play, the draw cards, and I don't get to restand the Dawn. So, either I'm misunderstanding this, or the sim just doesn't treat Bonnie well here. Because logically, we had 8, we do the on-play, we don't get the Dawn. I don't know. Anyway, that was going to be the game plan. To be able to do that, to restand an extra Dawn, use Paradise Waterfall to guard out to restand the Bonnie here. But for whatever reason, Sim just told me no. And there's been numerous situations where I've done this, and I know I have the Dawn that's still rested here, and it just doesn't work. It lets me do the draw cards, and typically never restand Dawn here with the Bonnie. I don't know why. But maybe someone else can enlighten me, maybe I'm doing it incorrectly. I'm not 100%. But either way, we'll go ahead and guard here. That was my misplay. I was too busy talking and not paying attention here. We should have guarded out there with the Kuzan instead of giving him card out of hand. And then let him take the Bonnie with the ACOS swing, or the AK swing. That's my fault. But we'll drop Mihawk down. Still no Tashigi here. Which is okay, I guess. Because he did not develop a Garp into something else, so we'll take those. This card is so good. So good. Alright, so he's got a Peacock in hand with 1 Dawn active, I assume. This is very risky if we decide to go, like, all in here. I'd rather try to go for board and remove more cards in hand if possible. So, we're going to go 3 here first. Just to get this off the field. Because if he doesn't have any Garp, you know what I mean? He's going to probably swing again with the Sengoku. And that's just an extra attack I don't want to deal with. Because otherwise, if he had the Garp there, you'd play the Garp into Borsellino or Garp into another Kuzan to freeze the Smoker. And he also doesn't have Gravity Blade, so we're chilling, I think. Yep. Sure. He wanted to protect that. Alright. So he's got 5 left. We've got 7. If we Hody, we go to 1, but we get to rest the Peacock. Which at this point, I think it's a little too late, right? We would have played Hody originally to rest Borsellino and the Dawn. So let's just go 7 here. If he wants to give me the event, that's totally fine. Because he gets to pitch a card in hand. Cool. Then he gets to recycle. He draws a free card here as well. Throws away Peacock for Peacock. Draws an extra card. I'll take that trade. And now we either go heavy into Kuzan, which can be ideal, but I want to try to leave up Dawn here for the Mihawk. Let's go 5 lead. And this might be super risky. When I say super risky, it probably is going to be super risky. Okay, so he takes the hit. Let's drop this over top of Virgo. We'll pass turn. So we've got 2 blockers. We've got a Spiderweb and a Paradise Waterfall here. Which, if he did have Gravity Blade, or a Red Rock, for example, he'd Gravity Blade both Smokers this turn. Or he'd Gravity Blade Smoker and the blocker. But I don't know. We'll see. There's that. 9 Dawn left. So there's the Garp. Toss the Sakazuki. Gets the Kuzan. He still has a very nice board here to combat this. So pitches 2k. The hand, however, it's hurting over there. Goes 5. We'll guard here. So he has to make the decision of, okay, so he is going to go for it. He's just going to go 9k. Alright. Well, Paradise with the Mihawk here. There's no point of taking the hit for free, which is pretty good. This will allow us to restand the Mihawk and go up to 10k. Now remember, our Smoker cannot swing here, so we cannot go for lethal, which is rough. I mean, technically we can, but most Kuzan lists, they run anywhere between 10 to 14 2Ks, and I have to play this a little bit safe, which means we need enough Dawn for Spiderweb in Paradise. It really depends on if their Smoker can land or not. I don't know why I just tried to click the other Smoker. It's my fault. Anyway, 4 cards in hands. Let's just go 7 here. He doesn't have Peacock. Let me think. Is that math? 3, 4, 5, 2, 3. This looks fine. 2 2Ks. I think if that would have landed, then maybe we could potentially try to go for game. 4. Nah, I think that was fine. That's fine. I think if he would have went for game, they would probably lost. If he had the 2 2Ks in hand, he just needed to guard that one. If the other Smoker could have swing, or kids could swing, we'd be fine. I can go 7 here. I'm just going to force cards out of hand. Okay. Ooh, this is really risky, but okay, there's that. I can't afford it, man. Because we go 8, he counters out, and he has 3 swings left plus lead with 2 blockers on board. So the only way that we clear that is by attaching 2 Dawn. And who's to say he doesn't draw Red Rock, you know? At least with 2 blockers, we can do the restanding thing, and we should be alright. I'll give them counter here. Goes 5. 7 Dawn left. I'll give them counter here as well. No blade? I think it's a little late for Gravity Blade, right? There's 8 lead. I can't take this hit either. Paradise. Restand. And this should be game. Because necessarily... No. He could still have Red Rock, right? Because if we block and he Red Rocks the other one... No, yeah, we still win. We're fine. We're fine. Restand this as well. What do you do here? Goes 8 into here. We'll guard with Sanji. Of course, you have another one. So he's going to free a Smoker again. That's 4 Kuzans he saw this game. Okay. I think we have to win here. Just in case it's a Peacock, right? We go 9k lead. Okay. There's a 2k. We can go 9 here as well. And then we have... what, 10-10? I think this can get through. Okay. Are we chilling? Let's go, boys. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, rapid fire. Come at you guys another matchup here with Smoker playing into Marshall D. Teach and OP12. Unfortunately, this matchup is very, very challenging for you, I think, with the fact that everything we want to play is on play when it comes to our late game, so our Mihawk and our Hody Jones. But the addition to our new 2-cost blocker here, the green guy, makes this matchup kind of a breeze, I'll be fair with you. Everything that Blackbeard wants to do is typically a KO other than the black hole, right? So if we're able to establish either Tashigi down with a smoker or like the 2-cost green blocker here with a smoker, this makes this very difficult for him. And we know he's got the black hole here, so as long as we can see a smoker at some point, we should be chilling. Which we have, so do the thing. Let's play down Tashigi here. Let's clear board first. I don't want to give him free cards anymore, or any longer than I have to. And in this case, he might run into Sanji here and give us free cards as well, so we'll see. Remember, he's got the black hole. He's got stage on board. Shiryu is really strong here. Removes that, unfortunately. That kind of just like hurt us a little bit, I'll be fair. He's got another Shiryu there. Actually sucks, man. Because he can play Shiryu next turn as well to remove the Sanji. The card's really good. 7 here. I guess we have to let this go. You know what? We'll give him my hand here. That's fine. Because we know he's got Shiryu and Black Hole, right? He has to pitch one for leader skill. Or not. Okay. Sure. We'll just stack up on smokers. Which is really good for us here, man. Let's go 7 lead. Okay. I guess we'll go 7 here as well. We probably should have swung with smoker first, to be honest. But it's fine. If this can force cards out of hand, I'll take that. Or not. We got 3 damage in a turn. We've got double Mihawk in hand here, so he is going to be able to clear board no matter what. Yep. Okay, 8 here. Sure. As much as I want to counter, I cannot. 5 into Sanji, yes. Okay, we'll take that. We get a Bonnie. And what do you know? Let's drop Mihawk into Tashigi. And then into Jewelry Bonnie here. He did not use leader skill again for whatever reason. I don't know why. Maybe he wasn't anticipating the Mihawk. Maybe he wanted me to play down the Hody Jones. I'm not too sure. But I'll take those W's. We'll drop this. We'll play down Bonnie. We'll trash. I guess it really doesn't matter here. And I still cannot restand the Dawn, by the way. Still can't do it. Yep. Still can't do it. I don't know. I mean... Alright. I mean, we were going into the late game there. He had the 7-cost Teach in hand, right? He had another Shiryu as well. So he could have played either or to remove my Tashigi on board. But we still had Smoker, Mihawk, and my leader swing. He had 2 life left. I think your boy was cooked, man. Because if we land 1 banish swing there, he has to give me Dawn for both big swings. Which means on the following turn, he's going to probably play down the 10-cost Teach to survive, if possible, which will only freeze 1 character on board, and then he can't remove a body, because Smoker is a 8k, and then our Mihawk's also an 8k, so I think he was pretty much cooked there anyway. But either way, we'll come at you guys with another matchup with Smoker into Koala, and I haven't a clue how to go about this game, I'll be fair. We're just going to go face as much as possible, unless we're in a position where we can clear a body on board. We can establish the Tashigi and the Smoker, in which I know she doesn't utilize a whole lot of removal here, going into her next turn, so we should be fine anyway. Blockers is something she's going to want to see, which I think most Koala builds run anywhere between 8 to 12, if I recall, because you have the Robin into the... What's his name? Hack, I think? Is that his name? The Fishman guy. And then you have 1 more blocker in this deck. I can't remember the name, though. Unfortunately. Either way, let's pitch some cards here. So Bonnie's not working for me for whatever reason. So we'll throw away this. And then we'll throw away... I guess we get rid of a 2k counter. Because Mulgun could be beneficial here. We'll counter out here. She's got 5 cards in hands, and we're ready to press here. Actually, let's play Hody Jones. Why not? Rest this, rip life, restand 3 Dawn, and we'll force her to do a thing here. She's got 5 in hands. Let's go ahead and just go 7 lead. Okay, there's 2 2Ks. Considering she gave me 2 2Ks, we'll go 11 into the Robin here. Let's go, boys. 5 lead and 6 lead with Sanji. And I think we've pretty much cooked this match now. She doesn't have Akuma and Trash. But she can still play Akuma to heal life, but it only puts her to 2. Not bad, though. Aggro matchups in a nutshell, dude. 8 here. We'll give you a 2K. Yeah, his name's Hack. Can we do another one? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we'll probably play one more game after this one, give or take, depending on how long these matchups are going to be here, because we're playing against another blue deck. Unfortunately, Koala did not want to play another game, so it is what it is. And I feel like every time I'm playing an aggro deck and that type of matchup comes up, you either just run over them or you don't see what you need. And more than likely, you kind of just run over them. I don't feel the deck is in the best spot just yet until they get their, I think it's a promo, right? You guys gain access to later. And which is going to make the deck a lot more consistent, I would say. I don't necessarily think it'll be like super strong, obviously, because OP13 is not doing the best, but it has seen a couple results, which is kind of cool. So, but we'll see. Either way, we're gonna run Smoker into Nami here, which is a little bit more challenging due to the fact that she has so much removal between the Red Rocks, the Gravity Blades, the Jozus, the Nojikos. She's got a lot of ways of bouncing cards back to my hand, and she also has access to 5-cost Zeus. Or sorry, 2-cost Zeus. I'm talking too fast, I'm all over the place. 8 in hand here. Plays Law down, that's fine. No Smoker. This might be a little weird, but we're gonna pop this. Just get this out of the way. I want to pressure this as much as possible. We're at 2. Tell you what, let's go 5 here. Cool. We'll attach Dawn to Sanji. I'll restand 2. And we'll go 7 lead. This will allow me to play my blocker down. Okay, there's a Zeus. And a Nami. We'll play this and we'll pass turn. At least we can protect the Sanji this turn if necessary, because we don't have a lot going on for us. They're on 6. Yep. I'm glad we actually popped the Law there, because this could have been a Jozu play that bounced Law to hand to bounce Sanji back as well. They put a card in life. I'm going to assume that's a Kikanojo. So I think the only other thing they put there is like Baby 5, Capone, and then Soul Pocus and Kikanojo, unless they're running like a Wanu package. So there are some Wanu triggers that they can go in the top life as well. So they bounce the blocker the hands. They go 7 here. We get a Virgo off that. No Smoker still. Please. Let's go, boys. We got there. Okay, so now we're in business. We play Smoker down. We do the thing with the Tashigi. So now we're cooking. We have to play this first, just in case a trigger. Actually, you know what? We can't really swing here, can we? Because they stack the life. Let's go 6. Whatever. If they let it happen, it be what it be, right? Give me a 2K. Interesting. So what could that be then? Huh. Speaking of Wanu, Momonosuke here. I have run into a couple Wanu variations of Nami. I myself have not playtested it, but it could be interesting. Because you have access to the new Odin, which is searchable. If you go Wanu country. You go 7 lead. She's going to draw a card regardless. So, you got it. We're not giving you my hand for that. There's another searcher. Draw 1. Red Rock. Wait, what? They Red Rock to Shigi. That's crazy. Why? Not bad, though. I mean, kinda. But still, having a second Smoker on board against a yellow deck is pretty good. So we'll do that. We'll play Smoker down. We'll do the thing. Go up to 6 Dawn. Okay. So now we have a way of playing Sanji here as well. And we can pressure life here too. Actually, I think we should go 10. I think this is a little bit harder for her to guard here. So whatever she put in life is probably going to get banished. Because if she gives me a card to go to 7, she only has to give me 3k counter there, which is a 2k and a 1k. Going 10, she has to discard for a leader ability, then give me... Okay, alright. Sure. She did have Jozu. Cool. And we got a pudding out of that. Which for us, this might be just game-changing. Because that's the whole hand with no late game anymore. So no Jozu, no Kid. We'll play a blocker here. And we'll pass it over. There's no reason to swing just to get a body on board if that's a Kikinojo. What do you do here? 8 cost Luffy. Eustace Kid. It's not really going to help in that scenario. Luffy can bounce back the blocker of the hand, and then she's going to run into the Smoker, I guess. Oh, she's going to do it anyway. 9 to Smoker. Well, Paradise, restand it. 6 Dawn left. So perhaps it was going to be a 9k into Smoker, the Red Rock the other. Yep. 1 card in hands. We get a search. We do get the Mihawk. Let's go 7 lead first. That was Kikinojo, wasn't it? Yes, sir. Get Mihawk down, restand 4, plus lead skill. Get the restand 7 Dawn. That's so crazy. And now we have enough for the Spiderweb and the Paradise Waterfall to protect twice with Mihawk here. Sure. Can we do another one, please? Oh, okay. Rapid fire. That was quick. Alright. We had mulligan this. Double Smoker with a Virgo. Can we get lucky? Let's go, boys. Alright, we're looking good. We're in business. We got it on curve. We're chilling. Because last game it was 1 turn late, and we were still able to clean it up. Let's go 5 lead. And part of me wants to just play Tashigi here. I guess it really depends. Okay, she guards out. Ah, boy. Yeah, let's go 5. Because there's no stopping her from playing down a Nojiko to bounce it back to hand next turn, if possible, and then do the Sanji and have Dawn left for Nami. So... I'm hoping she develops something here instead. No trigger, please. Which means... Okay, there's a Robin. Huh? Wait, what just happened? You play Sanji. Oh, off the Robin. Okay, that makes sense. Right? Because he's a... Yeah, he's a 2 cost yellow. Because that makes sense. 3 costs or lower. That's my bad. Yep. I guess we'll just tell them, oh, it is what it is. It's just... I totally forgot about that. I don't typically see that here in Nami anyway. At least, I myself haven't really played around with the 2 cost Sanji. I don't really feel that's... You know, it's okay, but eh. There are much better options. Yep. She's going to go 7 here. We have to counter at least one of these, so we'll give him a 2k and we'll take the next hit. So I don't see her going 7 into Virgo. Yep. Another Tashigi. And a Perona. We'll go 5 into Sanji here. And we'll restand all of our Dawn to play Tashigi on board. Because I want to clear this body if possible. Nice. Play Tashigi down, we'll pass turn. So we're on 6. This could arguably still be a Jozu turn. But she doesn't get to have Dawn attached to leader if that's the case. So perhaps Nojiko or Zeus to pop the Tashigi. Or if she has both, Nojiko to bounce and then Zeus to pop the Smoker. Which would kinda suck, but it's not that bad, considering we have another Smo and Tashigi in hand. 7 lead leaves 4 up. I mean, I guess so, right? If not, we give him a 2k and the 1-drop Searcher, so that's a little rough. Get another 2k counter. Draws free card. Does she have the removal here? Or does she play Cavendish? I think it's a little too late to play Cavendish because she didn't have it on curve. You know? Okay, Nojiko. There's the Zeus. Okay, fair. Yep. Little does she know, we have another Smoker, which we are going to develop here. Because this makes this game a lot harder when she has to deal with a Smoker due to the banish effect. That card is really good, man. We could take the blocker, but we don't have Dawn to play it here, and play Tashigi. So perhaps we take the Mihawk for curve, and then we could do something like Mihawk, Sanji, and Chopper next turn, if it comes down to it. And that'll still give us 1 Dawn left over. Gives us a kid. Sure, we'll pass it over. If Smoker sticks for this turn, I think we're fine. But the only way she gets to remove this is through a Nojiko effect, a Zeus to pop it, and then into a Jozu or a Zeus onto the Smoker. Because there's no way she red rocks again. Okay, so here's Jozu. Yep. Sure. Okay. So she's not going to attach Dawn to lead, which is good for us. We'll give you the Sanji then. Because now we can do Mihawk, Smoker, Tashigi. Because we're at 7, so we go to 9. So I'll go 5 lead first. She better not take this hit. And we only have to worry about Jozu swinging next turn, unless she dons up the Sanji. Which makes it a little bit harder for her to develop bodies on board. So she's going to have to choose between bodies or going for removal. Look at that, man. 16 Dawn. We only spent 9. That's insane. Okay. Yep. 5 here. 8 left. Okay. We'll counter. I mean, I guess. No, she can't win here, right? Why would you... Oh, okay. I'm confused. We're gonna go 8 here, sure. I don't get that. And we have to let this go because she has 5 Dawn left. Because if we guard out, we don't have enough counter to protect both, right? Yeah, because we have to give her a 2k there. That's fine. And then we give her... Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. That hand, though. I know I said that was going to be the last game, but this will be the last game for real, for real. and then we'll dive into the deck list at the end of the video here. Either way, I felt like Nami was doing pretty well outside of what she had left in hand there. She had some Kikanojos, she had Ace Rush, and then her life, she had Beji for the last life. So I mean, I think she was trying to play around the Smokers, and she did bounce them back and forth. She got some KOs off on the Smokers as well. I think the Mihawk really cemented the game for us by being able to play down for 3 bodies with Shigi on board, which guarantees that she's not able to remove all of that at once, which is really, really nice. And we were still at 2 life, so. With that being said, she did play very well. But in any case, it's going to be the last matchup for the day. Then we're going to dive back into the deck list. I do hope you guys are enjoying this one. Considering Smoker isn't typically featured on the channel, so this isn't something we normally do. I am very much enjoying Smoker, and I can't wait until we're able to get the brand new law that comes out in PRB. I think that card is going to be pretty disgusting, along with the new Kobe. So, I do see Smoker coming back in the metagame, which Smoker is doing a little, I guess, well in OP13. If I would say. But Sakazuki, though, if you guys were around for like the original Sakazuki when we had access to Ice Age and Moria, this deck was a menace. It was really, really strong. Nothing pained me more than going to a local scene to see a new player playing against Sakazuki for the first time, and they don't get to have anything on board for a full turn, which is kind of nutty. But nowadays, I think Sakazuki has a lot harder time dealing with everything in the current metagame. Just because you lost so much of the deck, that made it very, very busted. Now we have the Tashigi on top of the 2-cost green card here as well, which basically just stops KOs from happening. So we drew Tashigi late, but we were able to search out and grab this, which prevents him from using Rob Lucci, right? He already used the 2-cost event earlier to bottom deck some stuff, so this time around he has to use Hound Blaze, which takes up 4 Dawn, or 2 Dawn. And then Rob Lucci takes up 4, so he doesn't have enough to remove the Smoker otherwise. There's Lucci. And it doesn't necessarily matter what the cost goes down to. It's a 5-cost or lower character this guy will protect, as long as it's a slash unit, which Smoker is. Therefore, he can't remove Smoker. He's got 3 cards in hand, he already dumped 2 2Ks on board. We're sitting pretty good for next turn. Yep. So we get a Banish Swing off, I would assume. Unless he's going to dump the rest of his hand. He does still have to pitch for Leader Skill if he wants to do that. I don't see why he wouldn't, but I could be wrong. This card is so good. Alright, what are you doing, man? Okay, throws away Hina. Gets a recycle. We get a Bonnie, we're on 7 Dawn. Tell you what, this might be crazy, but let's play Hody, let's rest this. We'll rest brand new. We'll clear the brand new after we restand Dawn. Then we also have Tashigi in hand to protect the Smoker. Let's go 5 here. Yep. Like I said, he gave us 2 2Ks for removal there, so I'm assuming his hand is hurting right now. We got the Lucci. We go 7 lead. Just let it hit. Nice. So there's a Shirahoshi, which he can still get back from the trash with Rebecca. I think we're looking pretty good here. We don't have a Hody for next turn, but I don't think he can remove board at all. He could potentially stage and bottom deck our Tashigi, though. Okay, there's a Hina. Place Hina down. So that's gonna... Okay, never mind. -4 on Smoker, sure. Hound Blaze. You can't do that. That's cute, though. Yep. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the end of the video, in which today we got to play around with Smoker here in OP12. This is something we don't typically get to do on the channel. I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. This leader was a lot more fun than I first gave it credit for, especially when we gained access to the Mihawk. this is the first time I've come back to Smoker since OP12. You know what I mean? I played Smoker for a little bit, just on paper. It didn't really stick with me because I was playing Jewelry Bonnie at the time, and I think the deck lists were just so similar, right? You're running a lot of the same cards with the Eustace Kid, with a bunch of the Hody Jones, like they were running the same exact green cards. You had the Cavendishes, it was just, it was aight, but it wasn't that fun. Going into OP12, the list changes a little bit. Of course, Bonnie still has access to 8-cost Mihawk, but she kind of dropped the 5-cost Smoker, right? Which gives us a Mihawk Smoker into a Tashigi combo when you're at 9 Dawn going first, which is very, very gross. And I think this deck list is pretty good, and it only gets better in PRB when we gain access to the Law and the Kobe. Both of these cards are going to make this deck very, very, very strong, considering that we have a Navy type leader, right? On your opponent's turn, gains additional 1000 power, so he becomes a 6k, right? Then when he's attacking, you're able to kill a character on your opponent's side of the board at 3000 power, base power by the way, or less. And it solves our other problem, in which the deck struggles with when it comes to having cards in hand. So Kobe, when attacking, allows you to draw extra cards if you have 6 or less, which is really, really good. On top of that, we gain access to Law, and it's once per turn. This is another Tashigi, basically. When your opponent removes this character, you give this character minus 2000 power, so it becomes a 7 to a 5k. When it attacks, you also can minus 2000 power from one of your opponent's characters, which is really good. So this gives you access to things like Mulgun, which we already utilize, but this makes this a lot more potent, because you swing with this and you give something minus 2k, right? And then you pop a Mulgun, you're killing characters on board that you weren't able to do so before, which is really good. But outside of those two new additions, Smoker doesn't necessarily get a whole lot. This is also searchable through Punk Hazard, so I think this deck list is going to get so much better here going into OP13. And PRB is just right around the corner, so if you guys are interested in playing this leader, you might want to pick up things now while they're cheap, because if this leader decides to take off, prices will probably spike, you know. But hey, I'm not here to advise you on that. Just play leaders that you guys enjoy. If you haven't played Smoker beforehand, you're interested in him later, you've been holding out, hey, look into it. Either way, this has been Pawseplays. Remember to hit that like button so we get these videos floating around. Enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and I will catch you guys in the very next one. I'll see y'all later.